What's up, guys? Pop Up 101 here. Today I am going to be showing you the King of Greed Gauntlet made by none other than Galaxy. Because who else makes the best models for the game? Am I right? So, as you can tell by the title of this video, this mod is again a commission, but it is definitely one of the favorites of mine that I'm going to be doing. So let's get started on it. First off, just by checking out this picture right here, we can see that it is as big as her body. So let's make it 2 to 3 times the size of the fist. I love that he named it Gauntlet instead. Alright, let's pull in our prefab of our hand, and let's shrink this down a bit. Now, one thing I usually do when I'm trying to shrink things down to get the size right is I shrink it down way too much, just to be able to test it better. Yeah, this still looks a little big. And I believe this is the first glove-like, maybe 0.09, the first glove-like item in Blade and Sorcery in a long time. I mean, you can count my Hulk hands, but this is going to be a little bit different. And at the end of this, it's going to have a script attached to it, so when you pull the trigger or you press the spell button while it's equipped, it will launch you forward a certain amount of meters. So it's really cool. I like it. I believe that should be good. Let's do. Alright, done playing with that. Now, of course, it is a blunt weapon, so it's going to be super easy to make. And, oh, by the way, if you notice, I have this Wolverine folder. I just got the claws. I have made a few spell mods, cookie smuggler. There's a couple spells, my Trials of the Shinobi pack, my force field spell. I've worked with a couple guys on their spells. I've made particles for a bunch of spells, but no, so I have the models for the Wolverine claws. I have the code for it to turn it into a spell, so I'm really excited when I get the chance to do this, most likely tomorrow. Then I'll be showing you guys, but I'll be showing you guys my actual process of making the claws perfect and being able to pierce enemies right away. So, for now, let's just work on our gauntlet. And for this, I figure why not start from the very beginning? Because I got a little bit of time. So, let's just name it King Greed to make our life a little bit easier with capitalization. Don't forget, always make sure that if you are scaling your model, make sure it is the mesh. This, not the item definition. If it's the item definition, it will not work in game, and everything will be screwed up. So do not forget that. It's very important. Make sure everything is set to 000 as usual. And why he added these empties, not entirely sure. Because if you notice, if you look at them, they do not have any components on them. But this one, with the mesh and the material, the base lit material, so that's why it's this grayish white. That's the only one that has it, so I can delete these. I'm so excited to put this in game. This is the first, I believe it's the first piece of armor that Galaxy has made. He did a great job. And I'm definitely going to enjoy texturing it in a minute. So let's go to... Alright, King of Greed. And let's just set it up, because I always save the emissions and everything, or I like to save putting the material on last, because it's, honestly, I think it's just so cool, because it finishes the model. So, real easy, mesh, holder point, make sure the blue arrow is pointed up or down. In this case, let's just have it be pointing down. That just corresponds with how it is on the item rack. Parry point, doesn't matter. Preview, I always set the Z to 45, in between the red and the green. And let's make it a little bit bigger. If it is between the yellow and the green, the model's not really centered, but that's okay. If it's between the yellow and the green, in the preview, it will be facing this way, diagonally. Honestly, though, it's a fist. So, you know what? I really don't need to do that. So I'm just going to leave it like this. Save it like that. Now let's create an object. Since it's a blunt weapon, let's only do collider blunt. This makes it super simple. Now we create our box colliders, because, you know, it's a fist, and I figure that will work perfectly. It's made of metal, so we set it to metal. And I do have a couple new mods coming up, which I'm really excited about actually being able to put in game, including my custom materials for the bullets and my custom decals. Yeah, the blue arrow, it always points either up or down. It doesn't, I mean, it just depends on how you want it to look on the rack with the blade going up or down, but if it's put any other way, I guess you can, especially if it's a dagger or something and you want it to be angled when you stick it in your pocket, or your side holster, excuse me. But colliders really do not need to be super perfect for this, but let us make them as good as we can. That's my alarm. Okay. It just gets a little bit annoying when you're doing fingers like this. I know when I was making the Hulk hands mod, I was trying so hard to get the fingers perfect. And it's not impossible, it just takes up a lot of unnecessary time. So with this, honestly, I don't even need to go that much in detail with the colliders that I'm adding in. But, you know, I want it to look good. I want it to feel like a true Gauntlet in the game. And it helps that this was a commission. So, of course, I am trying to make it be as well done as I possibly can. So for me, I call it, no, I renamed everything, all of the collider groups, based on how Drags did in his original videos. When he made I think it was the U7 tutorial, because that's when I first learned. So I named them all Collider Blade, Collider Blunt, and ever since that, I've done that. So it's just a force of habit now. So I name it that instead of naming it Blades. I mean, I guess maybe it would make more sense to name it Blades. Then you wouldn't have to change it. But, you know what? Let's try this. Because it's going to be a little bit annoying to make this glove absolutely perfect. Well, let's see how well we can get our script to work. And compute the holes. Alright, while this is working, so of course I can make everything by myself, but it does make it a little bit easier, especially if the model like this gauntlet with the part of the bottom part of the gauntlet that will be covering your wrist and forearm, it sticks out quite a bit, and it would be difficult to get the colliders to be perfect on it. But when this bar finishes right there, the custom colliders will be surrounding the model, and we will see how it works. It should be perfect because of the amount of hole vertices and holes that I have allowed on this model, but let's see. I will say the easiest weapons, probably the easiest mods to make for this game are the blunt weapons, because you don't need damagers. You don't need to set up the pierce and the slash damagers. You only really need the base elements of the holder point, parry point, preview, your handle, your collider blunt, or your blunt collider. And that's kind of it. It's very easy to do, and it's very quick. So the fact that I've been making this for 8 minutes already is mainly because I'm still going through the elements of it, because this is still a bit of a tutorial and not me just randomly making the mods. But one thing I also like doing is whenever someone does commission a mod, I've started to record the video in more detail so that I can send it to them after. And then they can see exactly how their model was made. Yes, Mr. E, it will have a few abilities. Well, it will have one main ability. When you press the trigger, it will move you a couple meters in front, forcing you like it's a rocket-propelled gauntlet. There will be no particles or anything, but it will just propel you forwards so that you can launch enemies, which haven't made the script for that yet, but going to be getting to that later. And look at how beautiful these colliders are. Hold on a minute. Look at how great this is. Don't mind the other ones. Let me get rid of those for a second. Just looking at this, the colliders are perfect. And if you notice that there is, I believe there's still the hole right there for you to stick your fist into. So that is really great. And at some point in the when I do these, when I start doing more giveaways, I will be giving away this script as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. As always, since this has some colliders, we drag it onto our collider group, because if not, you get a bunch of lovely errors. And you guys know how much we don't like errors. Now it is lagging a little bit, probably because there are too many colliders on it, which, it happens with the script once in a while. because I was not sure how it was going to react with all the fingers. I should know at this point to trust the script. So what I'm going to do is decrease the amount of colliders that it has. Start it over real quick. Replace it. And it will do this twice as fast as before. Hopefully. At least it should, because I decreased everything by twice as much. Now the only thing is I'm just waiting for the... Man, this is taking forever. I'm excited for when I do get the chance to actually work on the script, because just imagine using slow-mo or any of the other mods. The mod that was updated by ChilloX, I forget what it's called. The Time Lord. That mod, that's one of my favorites. When you push I believe it's the trigger and the spell button at the same time, you move at regular speed, if not even faster. Because everyone else is in slow motion, but you're not. It is really great. It is a concave collider script. The only thing is, though, that the actual package that the script came in, it came in a package of 5 or 6 other scripts. One of them was the concave collider. One of them was the collider. No, one of them was a mesh merger. One of them was a mesh splitter, I believe. The whole package cost, I think, $120. It was a lot of money. The money was from donations and the money that I've made from making mods and commissions. So luckily it was nothing out of my pocket, and there you go. Now I can click on it again, no lag, and it still covers everything perfectly with even less colliders than before. So now what I'm gonna do is, as I'm sure you all know, and one thing you can do is you can just, if you want to keep something on your model but you don't actually want it to be active, if you select this box right here, it will not show up in game. Those colliders or whatever you unselect will not show in game because you have officially turned them off. If you just want to see the model or what you're working with without them, if you click this eye right here, it takes it out of view. But because these are still lit up, you can still see them in game. That's just for temporary purposes. That's just another little tidbit. The Shadow of the Gravewalker mod by Talion, it really is great. And the ring that he scripted, he actually did a really great job on that. The part that I'm most thrilled for him about is that he just started modding. He just started everything, and he's already made a couple models. He's already made the models himself too. That's the cool thing. So he went through Blender, he went through a couple of the tutorials, he's learned how to shade and do everything. So he's made the model himself, he's textured it himself, he's scripted it himself. For being a new modder, he's really done quite a lot. Which, he definitely a hard worker, and he's a really nice guy too, that I've been talking to in the community. So I'm looking forward to the day when I actually get to work with him. But yeah, I will say the script is a whole lot of money, but in the end, I think it was worth it. Let me take, where's my Gatling gun? So the reason why I'm putting this in, as you can tell, I used the collider script for this too. Maybe a little bit too much because it does cause a little bit of lag. Only in Unity though, not in the game. What I can do is that this? Yeah. Let's just delete that real quick, get rid of the lag. The weapon is really cool in game too. This blade activates and deactivates based on a script that I made. So I can do that. I can make a couple small scripts. The bigger stuff, I'm not quite there yet. But what I want to do is take this handle right here. Because in game, it starts with your hand sideways. So I just want to make sure that I am using the proper formation for it. So I can show you guys, of course, axis length. Let's set that to 0. And let's set this to 0. So in game, your fist will be facing the blue arrow. Okay. So let me temporarily get rid of this. So I show you this handle right here. You see how your hand is actually... Oh, I don't even need to do that, to be honest. Look at this. Forgot how cool the hand is now. If you look at this, your hand is like this in game when you're actually touching the model. Let's put that back. Okay, perfect. So what I want to do is I'm going to need to rotate it up like this and to the side like this. So let me just show you real quick. 90, 90, 270. Now, no, I don't believe that's right. There we go. Oh. 0 and 90. Okay, perfect. So the reason why I set it up like this is because when grabbing the weapon, normally if you're doing a regular weapon, you'll grab it like this. This is the handle, with this facing up towards the blade, this facing, like the tip of the blade, this facing towards the sides of the blade. But for this gauntlet, we want to be able to grab it like this. You see how, well, not with this orientation, but you see how we're grabbing it. Upwards like this. So, what we need to do is... What we need to do is actually rotate this 180 degrees. So, 90, let's set this to 270, add 180 to it. Now, when we grab our weapon in game, our hand will be grabbing it like this, which is exactly what we want, and we'll make it so it can do either hand. Oh, one really, really, really cool thing that I can show you guys right now that I definitely recommend you pay attention to. This is me just realizing I only have one glove model. I only have this one glove, right? Well, I only have it with this orientation. What if I want to use another one? What if I want to use, instead of it being this hand, what if I want it to be the other one? What you can do, really, really cool, is this. You see what the scale is? Let's set the scale to 1, just so you can see it. Scale is at 1. Now you see the fist, right? Set it to -1. Oh, that's not even necessary, but no, maybe it is. Let's set this to 0. Set that to 0 too. Let's flip it around and see. So we have our model looking like this. Let's just drag it to our new one. So we inverted it. We set it to 0. Now, if you notice, oh, it's actually rotated like this. Now you can see better. Since we inverted the model, like I just showed you, we set the scale to -1. It is the easiest way to make a model like gloves or a hand or something like that to just do the exact opposite of it. So that is something I'd definitely like to show you guys, and that it's one of the biggest tricks I've learned, one of my favorites, which is really cool. I'm glad it's an active chat, dang Darko. That's, well, the whole point. I want everybody to be getting into this. So, okay, so we have our glove. We have our hand set up, kind of. So what we need, we don't want to be able to grab the glove like this, so let's just delete those. Now let's do it so we can only grab it with our right hand. Or our left hand, actually. So, one thing I will say though is in game, I believe it causes the weapon handles to not work if you only have one of the default orientations. So make sure you do have both. So in this in-game, you will be able to grab it with both hands, but you know, you're most likely just going to be grabbing it with the one hand, the left hand anyways. Okay, so we've got our blunt, we've got our handle. Let's make it so that the model can actually get bloody. All we do is we add a paintable component. It's that simple. We do not need a fly ref. Let's make sure to drag this new handle onto this. Save it. There's no collider group. I forgot to actually add in the collider group component. Drag in the model to the emission. You know, how cool would it be if you could punch fireballs with this? I think I'm going to add that. So really easy. Make a fireball transform. You want the blue arrow to be facing towards whatever direction you want it to be going in. So you want our fireball to go from the fist, so when you punch, the fireballs will be coming from it. All you do is you go to the collider blunt, add it to shoot. It is that simple. And then in game, make sure to set it to a staff. You need to set the collider group in the adjacent to crystal staff so that it can do a gravity punch, a gravity slam, and so that it can shoot fireballs. You need both in order for it to work. There's already a joke mod, but it is pretty cool. It's made by Aya, I'm pretty sure. He's definitely made a whole lot of mods. Only difference between us is his mods are scripted. Alright. So I don't think we are missing anything. Except for the blunt damager, which, you know, might be important. So let's just name it blunt. Add a damager script. Drag in the collider blunt group. Let it stay at all. And for some reason it feels like I am missing something, so let me just take a peek at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, maybe not. It's just making blunt models feels like there's something missing. But the moment of truth. That is pretty cool. Let me actually turn down my lights a little bit. Much better, much easier to see. Galaxy did a really good job. Can you believe this is the first piece of armor that he's made too? So that's awesome. But what we're going to do, let's add the emission. So let's take the AO. Well, we don't want the whole thing to glow. How about the metal? Yeah, let's have those parts be the emission mat. Set it to 111 as usual. Save it. We're looking good. Make sure to go into the Gauntlet. Alright. If we click on it, we have all of our components that we need. And you know, just because it is a glove, what I'm going to do is add custom Inertia Tensor Collider. My reasoning for this is I'm not exactly sure how this glove will work in game, but this allows it to react better with the physics. So let's set it to Y. Increase the radius a little bit. Alright, that's our custom Inertia Tensor Collider. And with that, guys, I believe we're done. So, before we do anything, let's create a new group. Psych, let's remove this, because I already have this group. Because it's a commission, it's a 3-part commission. This is the second part of it. The first is this lovely Star Sword, also made by Galaxy. Really cool. Alright guys, you know the drill. Set it to default. Drag in the prefab. Now let's make the preview. Let's see how this looks. So if we generate the icon, that's what it looks like. How will it look if we turn all the lights down? I don't think that's something I've tried. I'm kind of curious. So if we generate the icon again, it is a bit darker. So that's something else to note. So let's turn all the lights back on. Oh. Little Unity glitch that happens if all the lights are off. You have your glove. One thing I am going to do, actually, let's delete this. Let's name it left. So I can make a left and a right glove. But we can drag it in. Make sure that the addressable is turned on. So let's set it to pop on the ones .king greed left. For the preview, just do that with .icon since we checked the addressable. There it is. The mod's by Aya. This mod I will be posting on Nexus as soon as it's done. Should only take another day or two depending on my work schedule. And just to show you guys how easy it is to do the exact reverse of this, to do a right glove, rename it right. Console warnings bother me, so I make sure to delete them if you guys haven't noticed. Now with this, the Y, let's set that to minus. Oh wow, was it that easy? Yes, it was. Was it actually? Yeah. Okay. Just checking. Making sure. So we have ours. And because we use the concave collider script, since the colliders were part of the model itself, that is really good because the colliders follow along with the model. So the colliders are still perfect. Handle, a little bit different. Only thing is, let's set this. Oh, okay. Let's set this back to 0, 0. Huh. Not entirely sure why the model is rotated. Definitely going to yell at Galaxy for that. But so handle. Just put it in the middle of the model. Maybe I should put it up a little bit more now that I think about it, but let's put in the left glove so we can compare them both. Yeah, looking at the handle on the left, it's really low down. So, one thing you can do to change that real quick, if you double click on the prefab, go to handle, just drag it up a bit. Maybe a little bit less. And next, and it automatically saves it. You don't even need to do Control S or save it or anything because it automatically saves if you go into the prefab to edit the model. Well, I hope you like it. So with this, let's just bring it up a bit. And I think we're done, actually. There you go. The Tensor Collider. Let's drag it right there. Fireball transform. Let's put it right in front of the fist. So we can punch fireballs. That is something that no mod has done yet. At least I don't think. So I definitely think it's really cool. Parry point, holsters. Everything is set up exactly how we want it to be. Drag it in. Now let's see the preview. You generate the icon. Notice that it's bright again. It's because my lights are on. Turn it off. Let's take a darker picture. There you go. Now, those are our two gloves. Very nice, very nice. Turn the lights back on. Don't worry about the Unity bug. And what you can do is just copy this. Now, as you guys saw, it is extremely easy to invert a model. Alright. So when this pack is done, all I have to do is make the sniper. It's some kind of fancy sniper. So after I make that, I will be uploading this pack after the script is added to the weapon. But for now, guys, I believe that's it. And I also do plan on uploading the energy shield soon. So for those of you watching, and for those of you that are going to watch this in the future, if you have not already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely check out my new channel, or my new Discord server, where we have a whole lot of guys from the Blade and Sorcery server and everybody else that's starting to join it. And besides for that, you can definitely check out the Patreon, where I'm going to be